Hello, hello, hello. Good morning to everyone. Good morning, good morning. You know what time it is. It's time for Coach Steele's finance training. We're going to take about 2 minutes to get everything set up and then we're going to get started. Come on in the room. Come on in the room. Saturday's Huddle Up with Coach Steele's finance training. I am excited about this morning to talk more about financial literacy with everyone. We give like about one more minute and we're going to go ahead and get this party started. Everybody wake up, wake up, wake up. It's time to have that conversation. Oh yeah. Go ahead and get up, stretch, get the sleep out your eyes. Let's talk about some financial literacy on this morning. If you haven't started cooking breakfast yet and you're hungry, go ahead and jump on YouTube. Go ahead and jump on YouTube, Coach Steele's Finance Training. Sit it off to the side while you're fixing your breakfast. If you ain't got up yet, just turn it up a little bit, lay in your bed, incline your ears. We're going to talk about financial literacy and locating your money. That's what we're going to do on this morning. Locate your money. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Who's up bright and early with me? Well, it's not real early. I've been up since, 6 a.m., somewhere in there. So good morning to each and every person. Happy to have you here with Coach Steele's Finance Training, where we talk about financial literacy, where we make talking about financial literacy just normal. We have a conversation. And so I invite you to this conversation on this morning. Once again, I'm Simon Steele, aka Coach Steele. This is another Saturday's Huddle Up. So welcome to the team. Welcome to our community that we have here where we talk about financial literacy every Saturday morning, 9 a.m. Eastern Time Zone. And of course, I am the voice, the financial voice of the people. I am the financial voice of the people. I'm talking about what we need to talk about, not necessarily what we want to talk about, but what we need to talk about. And I look forward to each and every person tuning in. You can tune in on Facebook, on my Facebook page, or you can tune in on YouTube. If you tune in on YouTube and you like talking about financial literacy, then definitely today you're going to enjoy this conversation. We're talking about locating your money, part 2. So this is Locate Your Money Part 2 on today. If you missed Part 1, then definitely when this is over, don't tune out now, but when this is over, go back and catch Part 1. And if you like conversations about financial literacy, a good broad conversation of it, like, subscribe on my YouTube channel. That way you can always get updated content as soon as I put it out. I put out content every single week, usually about twice a week, sometimes 3 times a week. If you like gardening, there's gardening content in there as well. I grow a lot of my own vegetables. So stay tuned for all of that. Definitely like, subscribe, comment, and share. If you're on this morning, go ahead and hit me with a good morning in the comment section. Just go ahead and tell me good morning, so I can see who's jumping in, and of course have that conversation with you as well. You may not be able to stay the whole time. That's fine. I'm going to work with what you got, whether you got 5 minutes or 10 minutes. We want to locate your money, or whether you got the whole hour. We're going to be talking about financial literacy on this Saturday where we huddle up. And so hopefully everybody has had a chance to get their food together, get their different items that they need so that we can enjoy this conversation. I have my water as usual that I need. And so last Saturday, ladies and gentlemen, we talked about locating your money. We talked about locating your money. And we gave all these different pointers, ideas, and tips, strategies that you can do to increase your cash flow at the end of the month and you being able to locate your money. And so with that came homework assignments. And so I'm not sure how many people that were on last week are on today, but I am curious how many people were able to do a little homework and find some extra money in their budget. And we did different suggestions, different homework assignments. That way you could find and locate money in your budget. You're supposed to scrub your budget. And there are a few things that we had for our homework assignments, whether it's call all those service providers and find out who can give you a better rate, a better discount. Maybe there's a sale or a promotion going on. That way you could save yourself potentially an extra $25 or potentially an extra $50, whether it was negotiating with the cell phone company, whether it was negotiating with the financial institution, credit cards, you name it, the ADT, whoever does your security, home security. The assignment was get with those those service providers and find out if you can find a better deal on what you pay monthly. And if you can reduce that monthly payment, then we would have more cash flow left over at the end of the month. Why do we want more cash flow left over at the end of the month? Once again, that allows us to take the extra money left over at the end of the month to eliminate debt faster. Or if we don't have debt, it allows us to invest more money into other asset classes to bring in cash flow, to bring in passive income so that we can let our money work for us. So if you're tuning in on this morning, wouldn't you want to let your money work for you? We're constantly doing the work. We're constantly working to make money come to us to get paid whatever hours we work. We do the math, or if you're on salary, you do the math and you get paid for that month. But if we can creatively create more cash flow to invest in other places, we can have more income, potentially more passive income. And so the homework assignment was to reach out to these service providers, find deals, find discounts. That way you can put more money back in your pocket. If you do not call these service providers, you really don't know how much extra money you can have left over at the end of the month. Yes, I know some people are comfortable. Yes, I know you may be okay and you have extra left over at the end of the month, but there's potential that you can have much more than what you already have. And if you're already okay, then still do the homework assignment. If you have an extra $50 left over, an extra $100 left over, that's more that you can give to someone else who is in need. That's more where you can be used to support others who do not have. So don't get complacent and not locate the extra money because you're okay, because there's someone out there that may not be okay. And also you may want to leave more generational wealth. You may want to leave more for loved ones or for a cause. It may be a medical cause, a health care type cause. But if you do this and you have extra left over, you don't want it or need it, then you can donate that extra to a organization or to a cause that is powerful. And I'm talking about leaving a legacy. So when I say locate your money, it's bigger than just you. It's for you individually, but eventually it becomes bigger than just you alone. So On this morning, as we talk about financial literacy, you must understand that we are on a movement. We are on a journey to make having conversations about financial literacy and growing our financial literacy knowledge and wisdom to a bigger capacity so that we can be successful in the financial world, so we can maneuver in the financial world and on financial platforms at a faster rate and pace so that we can bring in more cash flow, so that we can improve our quality of living, but also be able to help other people. And most importantly, you have to locate your money. The money that is out there for you to have, no one is just going to walk up and give it to you. We have to take the initiative and be aggressive about locating our money, which is why we come up with these different tips and suggestions on how to create more cash flow and to put more money in your pocket monthly. So that's why we're doing this. No one's going to give it to you. You have to be aggressive about your money. You have to be aggressive about the things that you need and desire in life. So share, like, subscribe, especially like I keep saying, a lot of women, if you have sisters, mothers, aunts, whoever, girlfriends, wives, make sure that they're tuning into this, because we already know, according to statistics, women are less likely to be prepared for retirement. And so we need to do a better job of bringing financial literacy to women and helping them reach their goals successfully, because we want our moms, we want our sisters, we want our aunts, our girlfriends, our wives, whoever it is, we do not want them to struggle and suffer as they get older on in age and cannot maintain themselves. And so when I go on this journey, every time I talk about financial literacy, I'm going to put a special emphasis when it comes to women. And of course, minority women are all the way at the bottom, who are least likely prepared for retirement. The statistics show that they never have enough. And what's crazy is, men and also women who are listening, the interesting part about it says women are most likely to live longer than men. So ladies, you need to share this information with your loved ones. If you have nieces, if you have daughters, whoever, we need to bring this attention and fix this problem that's going on with women in America not being prepared financially. And we need to improve their financial knowledge and develop strategies to help them be in a better position. So like I said, women are more likely to live longer than men, according to the statistics, to the stats, but they're least likely prepared for retirement. So women are expected to live longer, but not have enough money for the life that they're going to live. And that causes a trickle-down effect. That causes a domino effect of things to happen, a snowball of events to happen. And this is serious. You have to understand how serious it is and why I am emphasizing that we locate our money in this season. If women are more likely to live longer than men, but less likely to have enough money for retirement, then that means in older age, it is uncomfortable financially while you are still living, which means now we are looking, that person who's older and not prepared for retirement, whether it's male or female. And I know different people have seen this in their households. So tap in and tune in, because we got to fix this problem. We have to fix this ongoing problem that we consistently see happening in our communities. When the person gets older, they don't have enough, and Social Security isn't enough either. Let's talk about it. We know it. We understand that that person is on a fixed income. They have Social Security, and it is not enough for them to maintain themselves. It's not enough for them to maintain their lifestyles. Therefore, someone in the family or people in the family now have to help, because for whatever reasons, not to point the finger or blame anyone or make anyone feel bad, we're having a conversation about financial literacy. For some reason, that individual was not prepared for retirement. Things happen. Someone may have passed away. They may have gotten the short end of the stick. Different events happen, at which causes the other families to have to pull together to help that person out. And what I'm saying is, we can start taking action right now to help resolve this issue. Whether the people are not prepared for retirement, or whether when someone in the family passes away and we are all gathering funds together to try to help that person be able to have a regular funeral, you know what I'm talking about. These things happen. Or whether we're all trying to, it's on one person to come with $8,000, or they have to take a loan just to help the funeral go according. And now you owe for a funeral, and now you're in debt for whatever the case may be, whether it's funerals or whether you don't have enough for a retirement. Now the younger generation is in debt because they carried the burden of what was not prepared from the older generation and what they had to compensate for what didn't happen. Now's the time to fix that. Now's the time to where we need to start taking action, locating our money so that we don't continue the cycle. We have to break the cycle of what we see. And we can only do that by personally taking action, looking at ourselves and figuring out, what can I do? And one of the first things you can do is start by locating your money. Locating your money. We have to shift our mindsets. And that's part of the problem right there. You have to shift your mindset of being comfortable and complacent. Shift your mindset of being comfortable and complacent. What am I talking about? Financially, we can get so comfortable and complacent that we don't realize how bad the situation actually is, or how much worse the situation is getting. If you're tuning in, have you ever heard of the book or the story of Who Moved My Cheese? If you've ever heard of the story, ever read the book, ever listened to the audio of Who Moved My Cheese, just put it in the comment section. I know it, I've heard it, I read it, or give me a thumbs up. Who has heard or read the book, Who Moved My Cheese? How does that apply to this situation when we talk about locating your money? Ooh. How does that apply to the situation about locating your money? When I talk about the book, the story of Who Moved My Cheese, and I'm talking about shifting our mindsets. Shifting our mindsets and putting ourselves in a better mindset when it comes to locating your money and increasing your level of financial literacy. Make sure you're sharing. Make sure you send this to a loved one, a family member, people. We are going to scream from the mountaintops about financial literacy. Who moved my cheese? How does the story of Who Moved My Cheese apply to what we are dealing with right now in America? Oh, this would be a great conversation. This would be a great conversation if we were not afraid to tap in and talk about financial literacy in our communities, in our circles, the people that we have around us. It doesn't have to be uncomfortable. It doesn't have to be something to where it makes people feel awkward. We can talk about financial literacy just like we talk about tea and the drama and everything else that goes on. But when it comes to money, when it comes to locating your money, somehow it becomes uncomfortable and we're not tuned in and tapped into the conversation. Well, there's a story that talks about who moved my cheese. And in that story, there are 4 characters. Does anyone know the 4 characters in the story of Who Moved My Cheese? And how does that apply to what's going on in America? Well, in that story, there was him, there was haw, there was sniff, and there was scurry. Him, haw, sniff, and scurry. And you can use this story to apply to a number of different things in life. There's a lot of symbolism. There's a lot of I guess you can call it, it's an allegory or parable. There's a lot of life lessons in this story of Who Moved My Cheese. Well, when I talk about locating your money and the importance of it, you must understand that when we look at the dollar in America, the value of the dollar, your spending power of your money, as time goes by, you realize that the dollar, your spending power, is decreasing. It doesn't have the same punch that it used to have. And so because your spending power is decreasing, it is going to look like you do not make as much as you used to make before. I'll put it a better way. It's going to look like when you made purchases the same amount, the same $50 that you used to go buy groceries with 2 years ago, the shopping cart doesn't have the same weight or the same amount of groceries in it that it once had, because your spending power has decreased. The $50 can't buy the same amount of groceries, the same amount of tissue, the same $50 that you would go to Zaxby's, to McDonald's, to like that same $50. It might take that whole $50 now when you go through the drive-through. Whereas before you would have change left over at the end of the month. I mean, not at the end of the month. You'd have change left over after the end of the transaction. And so you must understand that it's going to look like someone moved your money in this season and seasons to come. It's going to look like someone moved your money because your spending power is decreasing in America because of inflation. And this is why we have to shift our mindset. Because if you don't start taking action now, then you're going to be behind the power curve. You're going to be on the defensive. You're going to be trying to catch up instead of being on the offensive and being proactive and taking action to improve your financial situation. And so that's why I'm talking about the subject of who moved my cheese. That's why I'm talking about the subject of who moved my cheese. Because him and Ha got complacent and comfortable where they were. And when they got comfortable and complacent where they were, eventually the cheese ran out. Now, Sniff and Scurry went on to go find more cheese. When you get a chance, read the story. Sniff and Scurry went to go on a journey to find more. Where they were used to seeing the cheese at, where they were used to seeing the success at, it was no longer there. And it's the same thing with our spending power. It is no longer there. Now, Sniff and Scurry understood that they needed to take action to improve the situation that they found themselves in. So they were proactive and got ahead of the curve. Same thing that we have to do when it comes to financial literacy and inflation in America. You have to start taking action and being proactive to get ahead of the curve. And what are some of the things you can do to get ahead of the curve? We can eliminate debt. Eliminating debt and those minimum monthly payments that you have to make frees up more cash flow at the end of the month. Don't get frustrated and discouraged because it takes time to eliminate this debt, because it's going to take you time to work through all of this. Well, you took time to build up the debt, and it's going to take time to eliminate it. But there are strategic things that you can do to help you eliminate debt faster. And so if anyone's tuning in, and let's say you have a home mortgage, if you have a home mortgage with consumer debt and you're interested in eliminating debt, I'll make sure that I put some links there. That way you can research and do some more work and learning on how to eliminate your house mortgage and your consumer debt. That way you can free up cash flow and be comfortable and be prepared for retirement. And so down there in the Facebook comment section, I put those links, and I'll put it on YouTube as well in case anybody is listening in on YouTube. That way you'll have those same links as well. if you're interested in paying off your mortgage and getting rid of consumer debt. And so as we have this conversation about him and Haw, Scurry, and let me make sure I get the name right, Sniff and Scurry, you must understand that to improve your situation, you have to take action. You have to be willing to take that journey. You have to be willing to do what it takes to get rid of that debt. Just like Sniff and Scurry had to take action to find more cheese. So shift your mindset. Don't get complacent like him and Haw and get stuck wherever you were at. Now him, if you read the story, him got super complacent and basically gave up. Eventually, Haw went on to try to find more cheese. But let's move past that and continue to talk about financial literacy. Not financial literacy, but locating your money. So you must know to embrace and adapt and make adjustments. Now, just recently in America, also yesterday, actually, we saw that there was a big breach in security. Allegedly a company CrowdStrike, and there was a faulty software update or something like that happened. And basically, there was possibly like an overnight outage. People got worried because it was affecting the banks. It was affecting certain levels of transportation, airports, trains, computers, businesses. Once again, this is why what I'm talking about in this season is so important. We have to tune in and we have to tap into what's going on. It is time to take accountability. Get your budget. I can't emphasize it enough. Get your budget, locate what you have coming in and what you have going out so that we can improve your situation. If you do not know or understand how to set up a budget, reach out to me. We'll work through it. I'll give you some pointers, some tips, and some guidelines on how to set up that budget successfully so you can see what you have coming in and going out, and also how to eliminate debt successfully or be strategic with your investing. Because if we can invest and create passive income, that can also help grow your retirement, generational wealth, or help you eliminate debt as well. Some of this is not as complicated as you think. When financially you decide to be responsible and handle one thing well, it will open up the door for the other things to be handled well. I'll give an example. There may be somebody, let's say, they say, I don't have $50 a month to invest. I don't have $50 a month to put away for retirement. All I have is a savings. That person may, in this scenario, only thing they may have is potentially a savings account. And they have a little money in their savings account, but they can't figure out at the end of every month how to put an extra $50 into dividend stocks or an ETF or whatever the case may be. Here's a simple example. Let's say that person, all they have is $15,000 sitting in their savings account. Well, making adjustments. Once again, who moved my cheese? Here's a simple adjustment scenario. If that person has $15,000 sitting in a regular savings account, making less than 1% interest, and so we're talking about annual percentage yield. So let's say they have $15,000. We're going to do some math real quick. $15,000. Now, that $15,000 times 0.01, if it's making less than 1%, but we're going to go with 1%. If they're making 1% on that $15,000 because they have it sitting in a regular savings account, for the year, they're going to make on average $150, right? Now, how much every month? Let's divide 150 by 12. When we divide 150 by 12, what's the answer? 150 divided by 12, that person is going to make, what does that say? $12.50 every month in that not high yield interest savings account, but low yield interest savings account. So now that person with that $15,000 only has $12.50 to show for it. I'm sorry, $12.50 to show for it. Now we're going to do some more math. I'm going to show you how that same person can come up with the $50 a month to put in a IRA, or whether it's in dividend stocks, or whether it's in an ETF. We're going to locate money. That's what we're talking about on today. We're talking about how to locate your money to create more cash flow, to invest in your retirement, invest in generational wealth, or use the money to eliminate debt. In this example, the person who had $15,000 in their savings account but doesn't have much money left over at the end of the month to invest in a retirement account or in dividend stocks or ETFs or buy stocks, whatever the case may be, how does that person come up with an extra $50 a month? Simple. Low yield interest savings account, put it in a high yield interest savings account where you can make 5% annual percentage yield, APY. So now let's do the same math. We got $15,000. The same person that was only making $12.50 a month, they moved the same $15,000 into a high yield interest savings account because they understand that the cheese has been moved. They have to make an adjustment and shift to prep for inflation, to be ahead of the game, to create more cash flow. They take the $15,000, put it in a high yield interest savings account. So $15,000 times 5%. What is that? What is $15,000 times 5%? Go ahead and put it in the comment section, whether you're listening on YouTube, Coach Steele's Finance Training on YouTube, or whether you're listening on Facebook. What is 15,000 times 5%? That's 15,000 times 0.05. So when we look at 15,000 times 0.05, what is that? Does anybody know what that is? Well, it is $750. $750. So now we know for the year, on average, that person is going to make about $750. Now, if that person is going to make $750 on the year, then what do we need to do next? Someone tell me what we have to do next to find out how much they'll make a month. How much is that person going to make on average a month? Anybody? All right, we take that 750, we divide it by 12. And when we divide it by 12, look at that. That's a huge difference. $62.50 on average a month. $62.50. So what am I getting at? What is the point here? If now this person can make $62.50. Good morning, Mr. Reggie. Okay, I see you. I'm sorry, I missed some of your responses. You're on YouTube. I see you now. $62.50. So you divide it by 12. Now that person can make $62.50. But just know each month the $62.50 is going to increase, because if you were getting 5% off of $15,000, the next month you're going to get 5% off of $15,000, $62.50. So it's going to increase. Now, the person originally only had an extra $12.50 of passive income off the interest they were making off of their savings account. Now they no longer make $12.50, they make $62.50. What is the difference? So $62.50 minus $12.50 is $50. $50. In this scenario, the person that didn't have an extra $50 left over at the end of the month to put away for retirement into an IRA, you got to start somewhere. I know $50 isn't the ideal amount, but we start somewhere, right? So or to buy stocks, shares, whatever it is, or eliminate debt, that might cover the minimum payment on a credit card. Whatever it is, we shifted our mindset and we got into the mindset of sniff and scurry and made an adjustment, and we came up with an extra $50 a month. How many people, if not you, but how many people could use an extra $50 a month? You didn't even have to put in more overtime. You didn't have to work extra hard, but you put your money to work. You shift your mindset and you put your money to work. And because you put your money to work, there's an extra $50 or an extra $20. Everybody may not have $15,000. You may have $7,500. So instead of $6,250, cut it in half. Yours might be $3,125. Regardless, it's extra, and it's going to keep making compound interest till you get to the point that you want to get to. So we'll stay on point. Now that person has an extra $50 left over at the end of the month. Now they actually have an extra $6,250. But if you want to, you can leave the $1,250 in there to keep growing and helping with the compound interest, and only pull the $50 out and use the $50 to reinvest in something else, so that something else can make money too. So now the savings account money is working. You take the money from the savings account, not the money, the interest from the savings, and apply it to somewhere else, maybe a little more aggressive, so that you can make more money. Now you allowed the money to either eliminate debt, bring in more cash flow. Now your money is working for you in multiple ways. And that's what we want. We want our money to work for us in multiple ways. Do not limit the power of your dollar. That's why it's important that in this season we locate our money. You need to find out where your money is so that it will grow, so that it can work for you. Be responsible, be accountable, and let's find what our money is doing and see if there's some places that we can put it in a better position. And then once we get it in a better position, come up with a goal. If I adjust my money, if I do a sniff and scurry and put my money in a better situation, I also need to develop a plan of what I'm going to do when those funds start producing, when those funds create a cash flow opportunity. Now, anyway, that's just a quick example that we can't really make excuses. There's always something, a strategy that we can do to help us accomplish those goals. Now, we talked about T-Mobile last week, and I told you all, I heard from at least 2 different people that said if you have T-Mobile and you're on one of their plans, that Netflix is free. So once again, if you already have a phone, and I'm not necessarily telling you to race to T-Mobile, but do your research on anything that I say, not just T-Mobile, but understand that when I'm talking about financial literacy, you also need to do your own research for yourself and make sure that whatever that I'm saying is either true, factual, and applies to you personally. So I'm talking in a broad sense. You always have to evaluate your situation and take the necessary research, the necessary steps to make sure that this makes sense for you. But we did talk about T-Mobile, and I haven't switched yet. I'm still doing some research, but it is true. I looked on T-Mobile's website, and if you are on a certain plan with them, then Netflix is free. And so when we talk about locating your money, if your Netflix subscription is $15 a month, $20 a month, then that may be something you're interested in doing. And I don't know how well T-Mobile is as a service provider. Somebody who's listening in, they might be able to give me some advice or tell me how their experience is with T-Mobile. But hey, if you already have Netflix and you're paying for it, but there's a phone company that is making it free, you may want to switch to save yourself money, and then now you're not paying for Netflix. That frees up an extra $20 right there. So if that example that I mentioned earlier can apply to you, and that brings in the extra $62.50 a month, and then a T-Mobile situation saves you an extra $20 a month, we're already talking about 62 plus 20, that's $82. So it doesn't take much. That when you are truly genuine about locating your money and taking the necessary steps like sniff and scurry, you will find extra money in your budget. You will get extra cash flow at the end of the month. But it takes being genuine, being hungry and really desiring to bring about a change financially to improve your situation. We also talked about different apps that you can use. And the example we use was Fetch. There's a receipt app, and there's multiple receipt apps out there that you can use, but one of them is Fetch. And I'll once again put the link in there if you want to use that app. And if you were tuned in last Saturday, I put that link in there for the Fetch app as well. And I always put the links in there. That way you don't get lost or confused and click on the wrong thing or the wrong company. And so I'll make sure that I put it in this week as well, where you can always go back and look at the last video last Saturday morning, and you'll see the Fetch link app in there as well. So with Fetch, you can take pictures of your receipts. And when you take pictures of your receipts, all those receipts, all the times we go spend money in a store anyway, your points add up. And so your points keep adding up on this receipt app as you take pictures of your receipt. And eventually your points add up to the point to where your points can equal a certain amount on a gift card. And so you can cash out those receipts and get a gift card, whether it's $25 gift card or whether it's a $50 gift card. But regardless, my point is you're going to go to the store anyway. They're going to give you a receipt anyway. So using a receipt app, you might as well get paid for what you're going to do anyway. I'm talking about creative ways to locate money doing basic things that you're going to do anyway. How do we bring in more money when we are already using all of our time? We're already stretched thin. We find creative ways to make money doing the things that we were normally going to do anyway. We're going to get receipts. Let's make money from getting receipts. We're going to go shopping anyway. Let's make money from going shopping. I'm already going to have a savings account. Let me make the maximum amount of money with a savings account if I have to have one anyway. Because you must understand that the banks are going to make money off of your money anyway. The banks are going to receive your money, and then they are able to loan out about 90% of the value of your money to other people. They're going to make a certain percentage in profit, whether it's 7%, whether it's 10%, whatever the amount is they loan it out for. Now, if they only have to pay you less than 1%, then that's fine. If they loan it out for at 8% and they only have to pay you back 1%, then there's 7% profit that they made off of your money. So that's the arbitrage. They get to keep the difference and put it in their pockets. So now they use your money to make money. Then you have a car note and they charge you interest on that. And so they make money off of you doing that. And then you have a house mortgage. So then you have to pay them interest for that. So the bank is constantly making money off of your money. And that's why you have to shift your thinking and figure out, how can I make money off of my money? If the banks are making money off your money and becoming extremely wealthy, think about it. The banks take your money, they flip it, make money off of your money. You can duplicate what the banks do and duplicate the success that the banks have. Now you have to shift your thinking. Take your same money, make money, interest off of your money, duplicate the process so that you can grow wealth. And so in a sense, you are acting and doing the same thing that the bank does. You know, in life, sometimes we overcomplicate and we overthink the financial situation. And I'll give an example. When we watch Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, LeBron James, Anthony Davis, Steph Curry, you name it, all these amazing athletes as a kid, as a young kid growing up, you watch them, you watch how they cross over, you watch how they dunk, you watch how they play defense, whatever it is, and you try to emulate it. We want to copy it because we love the game. We know potentially, we might be able to make it to the league, whether it's football, whether it's baseball, whether it's soccer. all these different sports, we emulate these people who have had success at the highest level because as a child or a young person or an athlete, if we can train and work hard and practice and emulate what they do, there's potential that we can be in the league. There's potential that we can have success. There's potential that we would have these multi-million-dollar contracts, right? Well, the same thing applies for financial literacy. In the financial literacy world, there are LeBron James, there are Michael Jordans, there are Steph Currys, there are other people out there in financial institutions that have had success because they applied the same mindset. They saw the people who were having success financially and what the banks were doing, and they emulated the process so that they could make it in the financial league. We have to locate our money, guys. We have to locate our money because if you don't, someone else will locate your money for you. So we talked about Fetch and using that receipt app on Fetch. And once again, that link is in last Saturday's video. I'll make sure I put it in this Saturday's video as well when I get off. Use that app to make money as well. Trade in your points and get those rewards, those reward cards. Also, I did find something on with Georgia Power. I don't know how many people apply to because the restrictions and requirements are pretty tough. But Georgia Power, when we talk about locating your money, and this may be for somebody, a loved one, or somebody who's not working right now or has extremely low income, but Georgia Power does have an income qualified discount. And so, if you know there's a loved one and they struggle financially, and maybe it's someone older and they don't make as much money annually, do some research and maybe that might be able to help them as well. The Georgia Power income qualified discount. That way it'll help them reduce their monthly expenses, and it may end up taking a little bit monthly off of their electric bill. Also, another creative way to bring in more income, is to go make more money. How do we do that? How do we make more money? There are a number of ways. And one of the things I suggest is get with your company, your job, and we'll start with this. Find out, are there any certifications? Are there any certifications that you can go acquire, any classes that you can go take that will give you more opportunities to make more money at your job or another job? Will it allow them to have to increase your pay because you specialize in a certain thing? Does it open the door for you to potentially get a better promotion with that certification? So this is a great time to beef up your resume. If you have that different information on LinkedIn or wherever you have those resumes at, now's a good time to beef that up, add to it. Go find out what certifications you need. If you don't know what certifications you need for your specific job, then guess what? Find someone who specializes in that information and connect with them. If you want to improve your situation financially, first, shift your mindset, humble yourself, and get guidance, get advice from people that can actually help you, from people who actually, that's what they desire to do. They really love helping people. So go get the information. What certifications do you need? How long does it take to get those certifications? How much will it cost you? And don't get frustrated over the cost. Look at what that cost is going to yield later on. How much money am I going to make off of that certification? How much money am I going to make if I have someone help me with my resume? How much better job can I get? And so, a little expense and time and energy may come with doing some of these things, but it's worth the profit. It's worth the harvest that's going to come later on. Some people may have to go back to school for a little while to improve their resume. But once again, be strategic about it and find out what actually you need. That way you can beef up your resume, beef up what you're qualified for so that you can get that promotion, so that you can get that better job, so that you can get a raise. So doing that, you have to be at that job anyway, right? So you might as well max out how much they actually can potentially pay you. You might as well be able to get the max on what you can receive for your hard work and your effort as well. And so that's just another way to locate your money, bring in more money so that you have more cash flow left over at the end of the month, whether it allows you to feed your 401k more or whether it allows you to eliminate debt. Once again, if you're interested in eliminating debt, if you have a mortgage hanging over your head, and many people who have a mortgage right now, new home buyers in the past 2+ years, you may have, a high interest rate that you're not comfortable with. Well, instead of, and we'll talk about this a little bit later about the opportunities to refinance or whether it doesn't make sense to refi. So stay tuned when we talk about that towards the end. And so if you're in that situation, then that link that I put in there about eliminating your mortgage, click on that link, get more information about getting rid of debt and eliminating your mortgage and potentially consumer debt as well. So we want to take care of our financial situation because we don't want to be a burden on someone else. We do not want our children, if possible, we do not want our children to have to financially carry us and take care of us as we get older because now they can't prepare for their retirement. And now their children will be having to try to take care of them. And the cycle continues because we did not take the actions of sniff and scurry, and we decided to be him. Now, we have to take action. The cheese is moving. The cost of living is going higher. Inflation is going up. And so we have to prepare, make the adjustments. Even if interest rates go down, right? Check this out. Even if interest rates go down on home mortgages, it doesn't mean necessarily that you are going to pay less for the groceries that you buy next week. So inflation may go down in one area and still may stay high in another. So if you already have a house and you're not looking to buy another home, but the cost of living in the grocery store is still high, then inflation didn't necessarily go down for you. Or if you are paying more in rent, but interest rates go down, it doesn't mean that your rent payment now is going to be lower. The cost of living is still high. The cheese is still moving. So we have to take action and understand what they're saying and how it actually applies to you personally. Now, we talked about high yield interest savings account. We talked about updating the resume to bring in more income, finding out what certifications you need. As we get closer towards the end, I mentioned this last week, side jobs. Things that you normally were doing for free, charge. Because you need the income. We need the extra money right now to make some moves, to invest more. Things that you normally do for free, now we need to charge. We're at a time, whether it's $5, $10, or $20, I got to charge you something for that. This is my business. This is my side hustle. I'm self-employed. Whatever it is, now we're in a time where we have to charge. If normally you were babysitting on Saturdays for free, guess what? Now I'm turning it into a business. I'm babysitting, and I can't babysit for you for free because there's somebody else that potentially wants to pay me to do it. So I'm going to go get the money and babysit for money because I have goals. I have to prepare for retirement. If you're a lady out there, if you're a woman, we know the stats. Women are least likely prepared for retirement. So guess what? I can't babysit for free this Saturday. I have a scheduled appointment to babysit for someone else. So if people value your goals and what you're trying to do, then they'll just go ahead and pay you and compensate you for your hard work because a workman is worthy of their hire. Now, cut grass if you need to. If you have a neighbor or someone and you can cut grass and make some extra money to help eliminate debt, do that. Washing cars, whatever your skills or your gifts are, there's plenty of side work. Guess what? Some people need dog sitters. They go out of town. And so you may love pets. That might be right up your alley. Something you would love to do anyway, you can get paid for. And so some people, they can't take their animal to be their pet, to be seen or boarded at the local vet or wherever the case may be. The local place that boards pets may not accept rabbits. Guess what? You may have posted on different sites that you watch rabbits over the weekend or while people on vacation. Or It may be too expensive for them to board with the company, but they can board the animal with you. It may be a last minute situation and the dog or the animal may not have gotten their latest shot. Guess what? You have an opportunity. The boarders won't take the animal, the pet. Guess what? You can make a little extra money on the side and bring in some extra cash flow. There are plenty of opportunities to make extra money on the side to help you get rid of that pesky, annoying credit card that you didn't have the extra money to get rid of. You can do a yard sale. You can do a yard sale for yourself, or you can do a yard sale where other people come with you and you do a group yard sale together and you make money that way. So there are a number of things that you can do to bring in extra money. Also, there are some people out there, you're geniuses, you're smart, you're wise. When you were in school, you were good at certain subject matters. You were very sharp when it came to math or when it came to literature. And guess what you can do? Guess what you can do? You are in position to tutor. There are people out there that are looking for tutors. There are people out there that are looking for someone to be able to help them with certain subjects that they struggle with. And so you're in position to say, okay, I can tutor you. And you can set your price. But if you set your price as a tutor, then look online at the going rate for your subject matter and for the amount of time that you tutor. You know, whether it's 45 minutes, whether it's an hour, it may be on the weekend and you set up a whole schedule. You don't have to overcomplicate this. There's also companies out there that have the clients. They just need you as the tutor to sign up with their organization. And when you sign up, they'll bring you to work. So you can do it independently, or you can connect with a company that already has the students that are looking for the tutors. And once again, you can make money off of information that you already know, just helping someone else. So anyway, as we come closer to a close of talking about locating your money, you must understand the long-term impacts of this, the long-term implications. You want to have financial success for yourself, for your local community, to be able to help with your local community. And also you want to be able to have financial success because you never know how it may affect other people globally. We have to be willing to talk about financial literacy. We can't run away from this. And I'm going to continue to knock on the door and open those ears up for people to understand how important this season is to get yourself together financially. How important it is, because it's not going to get easier. It is financially going to get difficult if you are sitting and looking at who moved your cheese, as opposed to taking action, as opposed to getting on the offensive and being proactive right now as different things are happening, the cost of living. People, you retire comfortably, you have a certain amount of money coming in, and all of a sudden the cost of living goes up, and the money that you were used to having coming in is now not the same. It doesn't hit the same. It's not the same extra left over. So we have to be proactive. We have to start taking action so that we can be comfortable. And I'm not saying everyone has to retire, but I'm saying sometimes things happen in life, whether it's physical, whether it's mental, to where you're no longer able to, or you no longer desire or can go out there and work 8 hours a day to bring in income. So we have to start taking action now. You have to start truly caring about yourself, about others that are around you, to improve your situation. So I do believe towards the end of the year, and I don't have any factual information, but as we come to a close, let's talk about the subject of interest rates real quick. I do believe towards the end of the year and soon that the interest rates are going to take a dip. So understand, when this happens, a lot of people who have high interest rates because they just recently bought a house, a lot of people are going to run to these financial institutions that we talked about earlier that locate your money and make money off of you. People are going to run to these banks and they're going to refinance their mortgage. Now, of course, the average refinance, it does cost you money. You are going to have to put money down. So the bank makes more money off of how much your closing costs are. And it usually resets your 30-year mortgage. But sometimes there are better options than refinancing. And so if you're interested in better options besides refinancing, once again, there's a program called Accelerated Banking, and I will put the link out there as well. I'll put the link out there again on YouTube and on Facebook. Go get a free assessment. It's free. Go get a free assessment of your financial situation and see if you can pay your mortgage off in potentially a 30-year mortgage in potentially 5 to 7 years. Potentially pay your mortgage off in 5 to 7 years. You do not have to take 30 years to pay off a mortgage. You do not have to take 20 years to pay off a mortgage. There are other strategies out there that are in place that will help you be able to finish faster, free up your cash flow so that you can be comfortable financially. You must understand when it comes to locating your money, sometimes the best way of locating your money is to eliminate unnecessary debt, debt that is taking up your money. Because if you have debt that is eating up your money, then that means you're busy getting someone else rich as opposed to yourself. So once again, I appreciate everybody from tuning in today. Some of you will watch this later on today. I definitely appreciate you tuning in. It's at the top of the hour. Usually I go from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time Zone. I appreciate everyone from tuning in. Coach Steele's Finance Training. Of course, you can listen on YouTube, but you can also listen in on, you can listen in on Facebook, or you can listen in on YouTube. And of course, YouTube is Coach Steele's Finance Training. If you listen in on Facebook on Fridays, I still want you to go to the YouTube channel, Coach Steele's Finance Training, or type in at Coach Steele Finance. I want you to go there and subscribe, because as I put videos out throughout the week, you can catch those as well. That way you're not limited to just Saturday mornings, but you can go look at the other library of content that I have talking about financial literacy, whether it's dividend stocks, eliminating debt. I have videos on there that I'm interviewing entrepreneurs on. And so you can look on YouTube and watch some of that other entertaining information. And we'll be we'll be interviewing other entrepreneurs who have products, who have businesses. So definitely jump on the YouTube channel. That way you can catch all those good videos on there. There's a lot of videos on there. And once again, if you enjoy gardening, or you want to watch me go harvest some of my vegetables and some of the food that I'm making from my vegetables that I harvest out of my garden, then feel free to jump on YouTube and look at some of those videos as well. I have a lot of short videos from my garden as well. I just enjoy gardening because it's another way to locate my money, eat healthy, fresh food, and also save me money when I do go to Walmart. And usually during the summer, I grow so many peppers that I hardly ever have to go to Walmart or any store for peppers. And I can some, I freeze some. So that's just one less thing I spend money on throughout the month, whether it's peppers, onions, herbs, all that good stuff. A lot of it you can save money and grow on your own. Once again, this is Coach Steele, the financial voice of the people. It is our time. It's our season. I appreciate everybody tuning in to Saturday's Huddle Up. Join the team. Subscribe. We're going to run it up. Last month, I had about 150 YouTube subscribers. And today, we're at like 228 YouTube subscribers. So we're going to continue to run it up. We're on a journey. And men and women out there, I am making you responsible by sharing this with other women that you know, because we're going to shift the statistics of what's going on with women in America not being prepared for retirement and not having enough cash for themselves later on in life and not being able to have success. We don't want to leave our women out there. We don't want to leave them stuck and struggling. So we have to first educate them to shift their mindset, not to fix everything for them, but for them to be educated enough to fix things for themselves. We're talking about being financially independent. So appreciate you tuning in. I want everybody to be blessed. Have an amazing Saturday. If you have other subjects that you're interested in with us talking about, feel free to leave those in the comment section, and have an amazing day.